All right, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Next Goal Wins podcast. I think this is episode 27, maybe. So we're getting to 30. We're getting close to 30, which means we're getting close to 50, which means we're close to halfway to 100.
Javi can do math.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can't tell, Javi is functioning right now on about an hour and a half of sleep.
Yeah, I haven't slept properly in the last 4 days.
I mean, yeah, it took you a day to do the background.
Yep. 2 days ago, I was up until 2:33ish in the morning, putting up this background and setting this all up. Yesterday, or technically 2 days ago. No, that doesn't make sense. So that was technically
again. The days
ago.
are blurring together because we started yesterday's podcast yesterday and we ended it today.
Yeah,
and then you cut it today.
And
here we are, and we'll do this podcast from today till tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
We're on a marathon right now with these podcasts.
But
anyway, make sure you guys follow us on the social media channels. So we have the full-length videos of the podcast on YouTube. So it's youtube.com/@thenegwpodcast. So we'll upload the full video, but we'll also upload all of the individual clips from like the bite-sized stuff. And it's all organized by playlist too. So I have it all organized.
Oh, you want to do the point?
Do the point, Joe. We never put any overlays. So, and then we have the TikTok, the Instagram, the Twitter, and Facebook, which are all at the NGW podcast. And if you even want to reach out to us, if you have any questions or comments or suggestions for topics and things like that, you can reach out to us at... I screwed up. I made 2 emails because I lost the password to one and then I recovered the password. But I think the official email is the Next Goal Wins podcast.
We need to get you a little cue card with all of these.
Yeah, I'm running out of. First of all, I'm running out of battery. Is one. Second of all, I'm running out of brain power.
You're running out of Monster.
Yeah, I'm running out of Monster. I might have to open up another one. But yeah, we're all on social media. You can find us. We're everywhere now. Trying to grow this podcast. So first of all, before we actually get into the content of today's video, are you guys pretty happy with our growth so far with this podcast?
Yeah, I think it's been really...
I haven't asked you, but you're the statistics man. I haven't asked you recently about statistics.
Yeah, you haven't been giving me the statistics, so I'm glad you haven't asked me because I can't. You're like withholding them from me, so I can't look at them and answer questions. No, but looking at the stuff that we were looking at earlier, it's really cool. It is really, really cool to see that it's working well on lots of different stuff. TikTok is still crazy to me. I'm not on TikTok myself, but the more I study it and learn it, it's pretty cool. All you TikTokers out there.
Every time I think I understand the algorithms of YouTube and TikTok, you don't. It's like they switch it up, so you never really know what's going to happen. You have an idea, but you never really know. What about you, Georgie?
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that we made it to 27 episodes because that's pretty big. Obviously, the past month and a half, we're kind of starting to take it a bit more serious to where we're posting more clips. Well, you're posting more clips. And to like TikTok, social medias, and kind of getting everything going to where, I don't know, when we first started, last year, it was kind of like, all right, let's just talk some football, and that's about it. So now we're just taking it a little bit more serious into making it something special. And I think little by little, obviously the numbers are growing, so that's a positive sign.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten easier to sit down and talk. And we've probably done a better job recently of planning and preparing for each episode as well.
Yeah. Honestly, that's I feel like been one of the biggest things that you've done is, hey, we're going to talk about
segments, baby.
Yeah. If you can do that and give us a clear time that we're going to start, man, the sky's the limit with what we can accomplish. You know what's crazy about this is that... So just to let everyone know, it is now 10:57. When I got here, I looked at Javi, and I got here at 6:30?
Yeah, 6:30, 6:45.
And said, hey, can we make sure we have a hard end time of 11 p.m.? You go, no, of course.
We were on a good track.
Roman.
Tell my boy.
It's all right, though.
Didn't want to go to sleep. But anyway, for whatever reason, every single time we come here, I feel like we're moving in the right direction in terms of like we have a little bit less each time to figure out. So remember, like the first time you guys came over, I had that giant box of cables, and I was searching through these cables for like the first hour and a half. So now, the box of cables is no longer an issue because I haven't been digging through the box of cables. But there's always something that comes up, like the lighting or the set or whatever it is that comes up, and we figured it out. Today was just an external factor that kept us from being on time.
Do you think something comes up, or do you think that like Javi happens to make something come up?
No,
where it's like, you know what?
We also don't get started properly when we could get started.
It's true. Mostly Georgie's and
Bro, I'm the first one here.
So-
I'm the first one here.
no, technically I was the first one here because I woke up here.
That's true.
So, like, but if we really wanted to get started, I would have told Britt to just keep the kids downstairs. They would have
Yeah.
cried for a little bit, but then they would have gotten used to
Yeah.
it. They would have just hung out downstairs.
Yeah.
But we could have like literally just gotten started and said, all right, let's get into it. But typically what happens is we get hungry and then we don't actually get started because we have to eat food first.
Yep.
So we sit down, we eat food, and then we just banter
Then we're
for a little
tired
bit.
because we ate food.
Yeah. And then we eventually get it started when we don't have anything else to talk about. And then we actually start talking on the podcast.
Yeah. And now we're the first time ever. Really? Right? TikTok live.
Yeah, this is the first TikTok live that we've done. Last time we couldn't figure it out because I couldn't figure out the how to connect the microphones to the TikTok live, and now we got to figure it out. There might be a little bit of a delay, but it's better so you can hear the quality. And obviously, you got myself, Joe, and then Georgie's off camera over there because we can't put him in the frame. But
I'm
hopefully,
not good
you should
enough,
be able
guys. I'm trying to
should
work
be
my
able to
way
hear
up.
us. And we need
There
to
is a way to do it, I think, with 2 cameras. I saw people that did have that,
Yeah.
so like have a different
That
phone
would be
there.
funny. I would have to sit
We'll have like
across.
7 cameras all around us.
Oh,
at-
it's
No,
really
you
funny.
just have it there, and then on the screen it's broken up into 2 things. 2
Yeah, I'm
mini
sure.
screens,
We'll-
like top and bottom or something. Or
There's some things that I want to get, hopefully, if we continue doing this podcast, where we can properly stream.
If
I'm saying, like, if we continuously do it and we do a good job and we're growing, there's a couple of pieces of equipment that will allow us to do things like stream to multiple platforms at the same
Yeah,
time.
that'd
So
be
can you
nice.
imagine Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of those with just one platform? We'd be able to stream to all of them
are
at the
those
same
just
time.
super expensive?
Yeah, they're more expensive because they have to be like encoders, they have to be like switchers, they have to be all sorts of stuff plugged into one package. But I'm doing my research. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to the camera stuff. All right, so shall we actually get started?
Let's do it.
It's been
What are we talking about
so today we're talking about the
Dun, dun,
best
dun, dun.
11 to ever play in the Premier League. I told you guys to come up with, so obviously just write down your formation somewhere. I'm playing, my team's in a 4-3-3 just to keep it simple. All right. 1 holding center mid, 2 attacking. No box to box. I mean, technically one is probably a box to box, but 4-3-3. And we'll see, we'll compare to see who has the best ones, and we'll debate a little bit with a little bit of banter in between. Because I know Georgie, when I told Georgie the best 11 Premier League players of all time, and in his head he heard the best 11 Liverpool
Oh, for
Premier
sure.
League players.
I
of
mean, I
all
only
time.
have like
And he put
9
like
of the 11.
He put
Liverpool players.
Ronaldo in there probably, and then one other, probably Scholes, and that's about it.
And he probably tried to put Messi in there as well.
Yeah.
All right, so
For the
shall
time
we
he
get
played in the Prem.
started? Do you guys want to go the traditional way, start with the goalkeeper, or do you want to go with the center forwards or the forwards first and then work your way back to the goalkeeper? It's up to you guys.
Let's start with the goalkeeper, but
Okay.
that's my vote.
All right.
Okay.
What does the chat want? What would y'all rather have? You want to ask them? Or not?
Chat's dead.
Chat's dead.
Chat's dead. They left.
Mad Dog 7 left
Let's-
us.
All right,
No.
goalkeeper, Georgie, you're up.
Well, this one's tough. This one's very tough for me because I do think Allison is probably one of the best goalkeepers. But I do I put in 2 or 3 positions. I've put 2 players just because
You can't do that.
Well,
This is not the best 30.
listen.
It's not the best 33.
I just want
Listen.
to give you all the best, like top 2 players in each position.
I have Peter Cech in there, so it's Peter Cech and Allison. If I had to pick, I'm taking Allison.
It's fair.
What about you, Joe?
I thought Allison was up there. I thought of Peter Cech as well. I went with Edwin van der Sar, though.
That's a good one.
Good man.
That's
Great
true.
minds think alike. Yeah. I the only reason I didn't want to go with Czech is because I felt like maybe I was being a little bit biased. I wanted to not have my Arsenal bias in there, even though his best moment was we're at Chelsea. Like that's when he was at
he's
his
great.
best. And then he went to Arsenal, obviously. But I think Van der Sar was when I was younger. He was the goalkeeper, and he was like the standard of goalkeeping when it comes to the Manchester United tradition when they were winning and they were on top of the world.
Yeah.
So for me, Van der Sar watching some of the and I remember I used to play goalkeeper at that time too when I was younger. So a lot of the saves and highlight videos that I used to watch of goalkeepers all around the world had Edwin van der Sar saves in there. So I went with him. But I do think like Allison is
He's-
probably it's just hard because you also don't want to.
Because he's not done.
Yeah,
and like he hasn't
yeah.
reached what he could be at. Because if he, I think if he continues to do what he has been doing, he'll be the best in the Premier League.
I do have to. Our boy Man Dog is counting. By the way, your brother's on too.
Is he?
Yeah. I do have to say, he said Tim Howard is the only acceptable answer here, and then he put joking.
I don't know about Tim Howard. I didn't watch him too much, to be honest.
Oh well,
His time at United and
his time at United didn't really work out, and then
we did really well at Everton.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Scored a goal.
He did.
He did score a goal.
Remember that?
He did score a goal.
He's probably one of the few goalkeepers in the Premier League who has scored a goal. And not only just a goal, but like not off of a corner kick, but he scored a goal from his.
Yeah.
Was it in his box?
I would say but Alisson scored a goal.
Alisson did
Alisson did score a goal as well.
Was it? It was a 90th minute winner, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
to get us to the Champions League,
That's crazy.
and then we won the Champions League the next year.
Yeah, so that's impressive. Yeah.
Do you know-
Wasn't Alisson's the one where there was like a forward and a center back who were really close to it, and that's what threw the goalkeeper off when it went over? Or are you talking about? No, you're talking about a different one.
He had
his flick,
Yeah,
his
okay,
flick
you're
on
talking
header.
about
His
the
flick
corner-
on
was it a
header.
corner
yeah.
kick?
Corner kick.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
came
my
up
bad.
flick
I'm
on
thinking
header.
about was it Ederson? There was somebody who played kicked a long one like Tim Howard's, but the reason it went over is because like where it bounced right by the center forward and the defender, so the goalkeeper thought they
Yeah.
were going to touch it, and when they didn't, it bounced over his head. Whereas Tim Howard's just went straight,
Yeah, I do remember
bounced,
that.
and then like there was nobody there, and then it bounced over the goalkeeper. But no, Tim Howard is not the
no
only acceptable answer.
Sorry, Man
unfortunately.
Dog. He said he thinks it was against Bristol Rovers on a goal kick. Tim Howard.
Sounds right.
That's
But it wasn't
pretty
a goal- was it
impressive.
a
That's
goal?
impressive if you
If
remember
it-
that.
I thought it was live. I thought it was like live play.
If that was from a goal kick, that's impressive.
It is impressive.
Yeah, I know.
But what is the other goalkeeper
It
doing?
bounced, I think, at some point. It had to have bounced
Well,
because he didn't kick it all the way
rainy
over his
day, I
head.
assume. Rainy day.
Rainy day,
Rainy day,
probably
skip,
windy.
bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense, I guess.
All right, so
Defenders? Or should we just...
yeah, let's go back line. Let's start with the back line.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to start? Outside backs, full backs, or center backs?
Well, I went with a 3-5, too.
Oh.
Oh my
I
god.
thought about it because I wanted to put
A lot
one
of
more
mer-
defender in there.
Yeah, so
one
I
more
like
center back.
I wanted to put one more center back, and I wanted to have more space up top. So
Yeah.
I went with the 3-5-2.
So you cheated the system. Okay,
No,
sure.
that's a
No,
very
it's valid.
standard system that people
All right,
play.
let's hear it. What do you got?
I have Vidic, Virgil van Dijk,
Oh, you're going to all okay.
and Sol Campbell as my 3 center backs.
So Campbell's it going?
I thought about Sol Campbell, but I didn't watch him enough, and I felt like there was better ones.
Vidic to me, I think we talked about this yesterday. Vidic, I think, is one of the best, if not the best, Premier League defender. And the reason why I say that, I distinctly remember I would dread Arsenal games against United because of how much he would just shut us down between him and Ferdinand, and it was very, very infuriating. One of my favorite moments, though, is when Torres beasted Vidic.
Oh my god.
I was so happy just because I hated United at the time and Vidic. But
You can make an
and I
argument.
love Torres because he was so good then.
What's
But-
crazy is that you can make an argument that Vidic and Ferdinand were two of the best. Like you could have put Vidic and Ferdinand in
See,
your
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
and they played together.
Yeah.
Is
Or was one of them so much better it made the other? But I don't know. I think they're both really good.
I think they were both really good.
I think they're both good, but
So you can make the argument. I didn't
you
choose
could.
Ferdinand.
Me neither.
Who'd you go with, Georgie?
John Terry and Van Dijk.
Figured John Terry would be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And like I said yesterday, Van Dijk, best defender in Premier League history to me.
Fair.
Just overall.
So everyone so far, every Liverpool player that Georgie's named is the best in their position in the Premier League.
Well, I mean that's the point of the video, right? So, listen, I do think Virgil van Dijk is probably the best because when you think about almost every other player, they had some sort of a weakness, some part of their game, even if it's not even the skill part, even if it's just like the leadership. Virgil van Dijk has everything. Tell me one weakness that Virgil van Dijk has.
You can't. The only weakness
that people
is the,
can
the
that people
injury.
can agree on.
That's it.
Yeah.
Which is not even like.
But he's not. I mean, he's been out for a little bit, but he's not like it's not like his whole career has been plagued by injuries.
No.
Yeah,
And you've been able to see how good he can be when he's healthy.
Again, I think he's the best defender, like center back in Premier League history. The only argument I can see people having is how long of a span did he have? Because I think he came at Southampton at 27. Or I don't know, it was like 27 or something like that or he came to Liverpool at 27 or something of the sort, where it's so late in his career that you're only the top for X amount of years. Where you're looking at like John Terry, you're looking at like Vidic and all those guys where they or Rio, right? Any of those guys really where they've played for 10 years maybe at the top, like 7 to 10 years at the top level. Where Van Dijk was a Celtic, then he went to Southampton, then once he went to Liverpool, then he was regarded as what he is now. That's the only argument, which
but when you're just thinking about, I mean, we just have to simplify and say like when you think about at their best, who was better? Yeah. So I had, so you had Van Dijk and who else? John Terry, right? I had Van Dijk and Vincent Kompany.
Yeah,
Vincent Kompany was the start of the Manchester City.
Yeah,
it was right before Pep. Was he? He was with Pep for
he was with
Pep, a little bit, but that was towards the end of it. Because he won it with Mancini.
He did win it with Mancini,
right? And that's why I felt like he was probably at his best.
Yeah, he kept.
And then when Pep came in, that was like the one player who he kept because of the leadership role, but you could tell Vincent Kompany not in the long-term plans of Manchester City, of Pep's Manchester City vision.
Yeah. Yep.
But he was good at everything, in my opinion. Maybe not as good as some of the other, but I think what stood him out versus a lot of the other ones, I thought was the leadership perspective.
Yeah.
He was one of the best leaders, in my opinion, of all time. Very good in the air, very difficult to beat. And then he did have that one strike, maybe not more than one, but that one strike that he had that he scored top bins.
Wasn't it against Liverpool?
I can't remember who was it. Was it against Liverpool?
I think it was. Sadly.
But it's funny because in his interviews he talked about how one of the young guys on the team at that time was yelling at him not to shoot.
And then he's like,
then he's like, I'm not listening to these young guys telling me when I can shoot and when I can't shoot, and he hit it top bins.
Yeah.
And I think he's got the potential to be a very good manager. I mean, he's already shown it.
At Burnley.
Burnley.
Yeah. Well, got him promoted. Did really well in the championship. And then now, a bit of a struggle, but it's a Premier League. It's a big step up. So,
yeah.
And
hopefully they give him a chance.
Hopefully they come. I was going to say, hopefully if they do go, I mean, they'll probably go down. Yeah. But
there's very few personalities. Very few personalities that I feel like fit what a true captain should be. And I think Vincent Kompany was the perfect example of it.
It's fair.
All right. Outside backs, full backs. What do we got?
I'll sit this one out.
What do you mean? Oh, because you're playing wing backs or what? What do you mean?
More like wingers.
That's
cheating. This guy put four wingers.
No.
This team would lose.
No, we wouldn't lose.
I mean,
you're playing 3-5-2, so you're playing with wing backs.
Yeah.
These two aren't wing backs then.
Yeah, his Ronaldo.
This guy's got Ronaldo playing wing back in his best 11. I also looked at it. As like, if you had to pick an 11, who would you pick? Not necessarily just one the best player in each position, but also thinking like, if this was the team that I was going to go play a Premier League match with as a manager, I'd be very happy. Team. You know, I mean, I don't know if you want to put wingers as your wing backs, but
I think we'd be fine.
That's fine. So let's go start with Georgie then.
Oh, right back. Come on, let's not even a debate.
He's not a right back anymore though.
Well,
just say the name so we can get out
Trent.
of it.
Come on, like that's generational.
He's a 6 now. He's a 6.
Yeah, well, if he moves, I mean,
could have put him in both positions.
That's generational, man. You don't the level and it's just out of this world. Trent is just out of this world. The funny thing is there was comparisons for a long time, and I think now it's completely squashed at this point of Reece James, like the Kyle Walkers and all that because they were picked ahead of him in the England squad. No, I don't.
So you're saying
you think he's a clear-cut number one? Oh, even over Trippier?
I think he's miles ahead of Trippier.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he's miles ahead of Trippier. It's not Trippier's had 1-2 good seasons now. So like it's very tough for people to understand that Trent has been doing this at a very young age, coming into Liverpool.
But he's still young.
And he's still young.
25.
And how many assists? He's had more assists than most players in the world. Like in the Premier League, so
that's I understand why you picked it because it's part of the modern game. I think now.
Yeah, but that's another thing. Like it's very hard to say. It's very hard for me to pick one because 10 years ago the game was completely different.
Right.
Like the style wasn't what the style is now. So if you're looking at a more defensive style, which everybody was, for example, my left back Ashley Cole. Like, he's. To me, is what he was the next generation.
Yeah, he changed that position moving forward
of what
for most
we see now. I think he was the first. Like you can obviously Arsenal legend Lee Dixon right back, completely different player than Trent,
Trent, yeah.
or the Kyle Walkers or anybody else. If you're looking, it just depends what.
Right.
Obviously, my coaching philosophy, you know, I'm just gonna go all out
attack, baby.
Yeah. So Trent is on the right, and then Ashley Cole on the left.
Okay.
I think Ashley Cole's a good one.
I actually picked on the right. I picked Kyle Walker
Okay.
because I think he's more complete than Trent. He may not be as good in like delivering the final ball, but I think the one thing that's missing from Trent's game is the ability to properly defend.
Yeah.
Which is what he gets criticized for all the time.
Yeah.
Which is why I do think he should probably try a position where he can focus more on delivering the through balls and being higher up and not having to worry so much about the attack. So I picked Kyle Walker because he doesn't really have a weakness. Other than maybe he's not the greatest in the attack going forward and like delivering through balls and like assists and things like that. But he's impossible to beat on a run. He's strong. His positioning is very smart. And he is one of the very few consistently chosen players over the last however many years for Pep Guardiola in Manchester City.
Yeah. When almost everyone else except for Haaland rotates through.
Yeah. So
It's crazy though. 2 years ago, he was very close to leaving because Pep said he wasn't good enough in the press conference, and like the turnaround. So that kind of speaks like to what you're saying, the mentality of him being able to hear that
And to keep
stick
going.
around, and then prove in a way Pep wrong. Then that's pretty good. So that's the right back.
and left back, my boy, Patrice Evra.
Sure.
Patrice Evra.
Okay.
I mean, he's again similar
He's up
to
there, yeah.
Ashley Cole.
Yeah,
Similar
it
to
is.
Ashley Cole
Yeah.
in terms of when you watched him play, he was one of those players that modernized the fullback position.
Yep.
Where before him, you weren't seeing players who had that ability of getting forward and of helping in the attack. I also like his personality.
Yeah.
The dude's
very
hilarious.
funny-
man.
he's
The
a
dude
funny
is
guy, yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah,
He
he is,
enjoys
he is.
life. He loves life. But I thought he was a very good player for that Manchester United side that was really, really good. I thought he was he would get up, he would join the attack, he was rapid, and he was very hard to beat. So Patrice Evra for me.
I like it. All right.
Just Joe playing all out wingers.
Just waiting for the winger section of this.
I've got a lot of
It's gonna be
wingers.
the extended one. All right, Joe, scooch over a little bit, just slightly right there. All right, there we go. Now you're dead in the middle
Do
of
I
the camera.
read some of these or like?
Yeah, go ahead. So let's take a quick break
All
so
right.
we can read some of the TikTok comments.
So Enrique said, this is speaking about Van Dijk, his age. He's becoming slower, faster than normal, but not what he used to be.
It's fair.
And
Possibly because of the
injury.
injuries too.
Yeah.
Man Dog still sticking around.
My boy Man Dog.
Appreciate you. He said Vidic, Vieira, Ferdinand for his three in the back.
Vieira didn't play center back, my friend.
Yeah.
And
Because you
then-
could put him
You
there.
could put him there.
He would
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
do well, especially in today's game.
I guess we didn't put any rules on where you
Yeah.
could and can't play players.
And then Enrique said Terry, Ferdinand, Vidic, and company are ahead of Van Dijk.
Ooh.
Wow.
You just
Georgie's
hurt
not-
Georgie's
yeah,
feelings.
that's-
He might kick you out of the
You
chat.
can't say those kinds of things because we want
Enrique,
Georgia to
come
stick
on,
around
man.
until the end of the podcast now.
Come on, Enrique. I think you're gonna appreciate Van Dijk after he's retired. I think that's.
I don't know. See, I wonder.
Knowing
because-
Georgie, he's going to write down and he'll message you in
Enrique,
2 to 5
I'll
years.
DM you later.
Enrique,
We can take
and
this on.
we'll be talking again.
We'll talk soon, my friend.
I do wonder how long Van Dijk has on top. Like, do you think right now he's still in his best moment?
Yeah. Oh, I think he's getting back
You
to
think
that
he's
moment.
getting back? Okay.
Just
And I-
because he missed out on the past.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
after he came back from the injury after a year,
He wasn't the same that
he
first
wasn't
year.
the same, and it was a lot of
Mentally, it
criticism
seemed like,
and
yeah.
mentally and everything. But I think now he's coming back to his best and everything. And I mean it shows. Like for Liverpool, like he's leading the team, and
Yeah.
obviously Liverpool have good defense at the moment and everything. Obviously Alisson helps and everybody else, but
And I'll tell you what the benefit of maybe getting to the spotlight later than some of the other guys is the experience. So managing a lot of situations where some of the younger players don't really understand how to manage. Like when you become really good at a young age and you have all of the spotlight on you and the pressure is so high, a lot of these players end up having like a good season when they're coming up and then they just don't know how to handle all of the pressure. Like I'm trying to think of players like
Rashford?
like kind of like Rashford, right? But I'm thinking in that position like Matthias de Ligt.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like he was. Remember, everybody was like, "Oh my god, this guy's amazing," and he was like 19 years old.
So Jack Wilshere.
Like Jack Wilshere, exactly.
Yeah.
Like these types of players that I wonder if maybe they just got a little overhyped at the beginning and just didn't know how to adjust and just have the experience of
And
just
burnout.
kind of
Like the whole process of being a pro, and regardless of whether people say you're great or terrible, like
Right.
showing up, doing the same thing, repeating the process. Yeah.
like Van Dijk
He was
played,
a-
and he's
played
kind
at
of
Celtic
used
and
to.
then Southampton for a while, right?
Yeah.
And he was really good at Southampton.
Yeah. He was really good at Celtic. I remember seeing
Yeah.
highlights of him back then, and he was
against
But
Barcelona.
like I think
Yeah.
just even getting to Liverpool and like once he has the spotlight, I mean he's like, I've been doing this for a long time, so I'm comfortable with where I'm at. I know what I need to do to stay at this level.
Yeah.
Besides injuries, obviously, because that's you can't control. But I think that maybe that could be a benefit of not blooming, but being in the spotlight maybe a little bit later.
Enrique did reply.
What do you say?
Appreciate you, my friend. Trophies wise though, question mark. Van Dijk prime was too late into his career, so that was the.
He hasn't won
That's
too
fair.
much. I mean,
He
he's
hasn't
got
won. He hasn't won a lot.
Yeah.
It does.
Champions
it does
League and
hurt
Premier
when you
League.
have to play
Champions League,
against.
Premier League.
Yeah.
potentially
one
a
of
couple
each.
more. Yeah.
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 And then Mandog said, I don't know why I remembered Vieira being a center back.
Yeah.
I mean, he could
He could
really
be.
play.
Honestly, he'd be actually probably a really good
Yeah.
one. Like
He
if you were playing
would
with three
be.
and having him distribute the ball.
Yeah.
But
All right, let's go
So
center mids.
Center mids.
Center
now.
mids?
Center middies.
do we want to go like all center mids, attacking and defending, or start just defending?
I had one holding.
I don't
One
mess
holding,
it-
two attacking.
I didn't do any of that. I just put
The three best.
All right. Well,
It's hard. Like if I'm building a team, it's one thing, right? If I'm doing all time, it's a
just
bit
put them
different.
out there.
You can group them.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So what do you got, Georgie?
So I mean, I'm just gonna say one.
All right, we'll go one and one.
The man, the myth, not even a myth, the freaking
Henderson.
legend. Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. Steven Gerrard. I have okay. I'll
The funny thing is
I'll
that-
just do
Now
three.
you're just to say all of them.
But the funny thing, hold on. The funny thing is that your answer to this is based on who you support. Because if you support
No.
Chelsea,
No,
or if
no,
you
no.
support Manchester
No
United,
chance.
or if you support Liverpool, your answer,
A-
George,
a
you
lot
tell
of-
me if
yeah.
you were a Manchester United fan, you'd be choosing Stevie G right now as the best
Over who? Over who?
over Paul Scholes
Scholes.
or over
You
Frank
have no-
Lampard. Over Frank Lampard. I'm just saying.
Okay. you're a Chelsea
okay.
supporter.
Let me just tell you this.
Like,
I'll
if you're a
stop you
Chelsea
right now.
supporter, you're always going to say Frank
No, no,
Lampard.
Yeah.
Well, no. I'll tell you why. And this is very easy. And I remember growing up when they were both playing, and I was watching that. Frank Lampard was a one-way player. He was going forward. He was in an attack. He might have played in the same position or similar position as CVG, but he was more of a one-way.
You're making it seem like CVG was a huge
He was
defensive.
He was literally
He was
everywhere.
more. Yeah,
he was
a
more,
little
but
bit
he
more
wasn't. It's
versatile.
not
He
like
was
it's not like he
everywhere.
was Vieira or
I mean,
Conte or
no. He's not a defensive mid. He's not a defensive mid by any stretch of the imagination.
Well,
But
Gerrard was more of the box to box.
yeah,
Yeah.
Gerrard was up and
He was
down.
like the traditional box to box when you think about like the 8.
When you think about goals, when you think about defending, when you think the most complete
deep
midfielder,
distribution.
He's more complete than
Lampard?
Lampard. He's more complete than Paul Scholes. He's more complete than
Damn.
Roy Keane. He's
Yeah,
more-
but see, again, it's not necessarily that he's more complete. He's just more of an 8, in my opinion.
well,
Because you could say Paul Scholes, as a holding center midfield player, has more qualities than Stevie G.
hold
and
on,
you
say
could
it
say-
again. Hold on. I was really sorry.
Like what I'm saying is that you're saying that because the 8 is a mix between the 6 and the 10. So you can do what the 6 is doing, a little bit of what the 6 is doing, and a little bit of what the 10 is doing. It's the box-to-box midfielder. So that's why you can kind of group him and say like he was more versatile than a Frank Lampard who was a little bit more specific. But like if we're talking like position for position, if you said who's the best holding central midfielder, then Stevie
Well,
G would no longer be
Yeah,
that.
well, yeah,
right?
of
You know
course,
what I mean?
it depends what you need.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at like I'm building a team, and I'm starting out, and I had the first pick in midfielders.
Yeah, yeah.
Stevie G, like complete. He's gonna do everything. Like I can go, Makelele, for example, one of my favorite players, but he doesn't bring as much in terms of the overall quality to what Stevie G does.
Right.
And again, underrated position as a 6, the Makelele role and all that. But yeah, Stevie G.
Okay, fair enough.
Am I going for all three or just one? One by
No,
one?
let's go. Or you want to? I don't care. Go on. Might as well.
Fucking comments, Justin. Frank never slipped. All right, that's
Yes.
funny.
That's
Well
good.
done, Justin. Well
That
done.
is good,
Hey,
Justin.
we're offering Georgie's seat on this podcast, Justin. You
Yeah,
might have
right.
just won it.
Man, dog, Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes. Well, that's the England line of the GOAT generation that didn't get anywhere. But
I mean, that is a good answer.
that's a
Yeah,
great
that's
answer.
Those
great
are the
answer,
three
yeah.
that are always debated
Yeah.
together.
Yep.
So you put them all
Yeah.
three in there. All right, who else you got, Georgie?
I don't have any of those three. Wow.
Sorry, KDB.
Yep.
Okay.
So Stevie G, KDB, and then Paul Scholes.
Okay. You just put that one in to hurt me, didn't you? The Paul
You did,
Scholes one.
a little bit.
We're not gonna even talk about.
All right.
we're not-
We'll get there soon.
What about you, Joe?
So I have 2 holding and then 1 attacking. My 2 holding are Luka Modric and N'Golo Kante.
That's interesting though, because Conte I can see because he did so much in the Premier League.
But you're saying because he did more in Spain.
Yeah,
than he did
like
in
that's the way I
Tottenham.
looked at this. Is it
Yeah,
like
same here.
I looked at it just overall, like the players that have passed through the Premier League, like
Okay, that's
who
fair.
are their best,
Yeah.
who are
You
the
could
best.
look at it
and I
either way.
look at
There's
how
no rules.
with the way Modric plays, I mean, and what he's accomplished, obviously at Real
Yeah.
Madrid for so long
Yeah,
is
that
incredible.
I mean,
winning a Ballon
yeah.
d'Or.
And there's a reason why he went to Real Madrid in the first
Yeah,
place.
he was great at Tottenham. And then KDB was my attacker. So those are my 3.
So you looked at it the same way I did. to where-
Yeah, I looked
what
at
they
it
did.
as like,
When they were in the Prem.
Yeah.
was their prime in the Premier League? And if so, because I could have looked at a couple of other players who I felt like their prime was maybe somewhere else and maybe chosen them. I mean, there's not really that many because if you're in your prime, typically you're in the Premier League.
Yep.
There's one player that really stands out in the Premier League, was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And then once they went abroad,
I think he's on my list. Is he a forward? Winger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
So I got center mids. I got Kante as the only 6 because I feel like
He can
you
do
don't
it.
need you don't need to put anybody else with him. That guy can do.
So you will take Conte over Makelele, even though
I didn't
was
watch Makelele.
50
I
I
didn't
was
watch
50-50
Makelele
on that because I was a huge Makelele fan back in the day.
Yeah.
The thing I like about Kante, I think he's just a slightly better version of Makelele. Makelele changed the game in terms of creating that position and making it
a thing.
pivotal. And then Kante, I think, just took it to another
I just
level.
didn't watch-
his off the ball defending and like reading the back shoulder of players as they receive the ball and just cutting in. And then he's so quick at releasing it.
Yeah,
Springs counters.
I didn't watch Makelele enough. Besides just having him in when I played FIFA, I'd always put him there because his rating was always really high. But I just put N'Golo Kante because, I just think he could do the job by himself, and people would say that he runs for 3 people on the field at the same time.
Yeah.
So Kante in his prime,
Yeah,
and I
of
think
course.
that was mostly at Leicester and a little bit of Chelsea.
Yep.
And then in front of him, I have 2 10s. 2 10s. First one is Kevin De Bruyne.
Surprise.
Surprise, surprise. Kevin De Bruyne, I mean, the guy's just different, man. Some of the things that he's doing. And you know what's crazy? Fun fact about Kevin De Bruyne? He's never won Player of the Month.
Yeah, I did see that.
That's messed up.
Harry Maguire's got more than him.
That's so messed up. At some point, you got to just be like, all right,
Well, part of it,
Here
I
you
think,
go.
part of the problem with him is the fact that he doesn't really ever play a full month in the Premier League, either from Pep switching
true.
players or injuries,
yeah.
or just resting him because they have Champions League coming up and he can't play that many games. But
Yeah. I put KDB because in his prime, in his best moments, when he's healthy, he is at times unplayable. So I put him. And then the other one, which I don't think I'll get shit for it, but Martin Odegaard. I like Martin Odegaard so much. That type of player. Every time he gets the ball, it's like glued to his foot. It's crazy. And he might not, maybe it's the end product that hasn't been as good as some of the other guys, you could argue. Like you could say like Stevie G and some of the goals that he scored and Lampard. And you could argue for some of those guys. I just think that Odegaard is just he's such a fun player to watch because he's super talented. He's done some crazy things that I haven't seen other players do, like passes and the way he moves the ball around. And that is probably the position where Martin Odegaard plays where there's the least amount of space on the field. The 10.
Yeah.
In that tiny little gap.
in least amount of time, yeah.
And he plays it like he's he's a 6. Like he gets the ball in those spaces so tight to his feet that he's still able to either distribute out wide, play forward, play backwards, whatever, and not lose the ball in there, which is very difficult to do. So
That's interesting, though.
and I think that's a personal one for me. I think that's more of
Yeah.
just like I really just enjoy watching him play. And honestly, if I did have to pick a best 11, I still would put him on the field, and I'd say because I think with other players around him that are just as capable, I think he'd be even better.
On your team, you're putting a lot of work on Conte.
Yeah, that is
That's
true.
why.
KDB,
That's why I put him in there as well
I know.
because the dude could do the work for
Yeah,
3 people.
for a decent amount of people.
All right. So central midfielders out of the way.
Yeah.
Outside.
Well,
My
that's
outside,
you
my
have
outside,
15
I can
of
tell you
them.
my
Joe's
outside
7
mids.
wingers?
No, my 2 outside mids.
All right, go on.
My 2 outside mids on the right. I think this is the one that you were going to talk about. Did amazing in the Premier League, and after he left, really struggled. Aiden Hazard.
Yeah.
Out right and then out left. Young, long-haired Cristiano Ronaldo.
You know, Hazard, surprisingly enough, for the fact that people say that he was super inconsistent, he won like a Player of the Year from like 2017 all the way to like 2022. Do you know that?
Premier League?
Yeah, but
It was like
Well,
not
not
in Premier
2022.
League, but it was like Young Player of the Year.
Oh, okay.
It was like Belgian Player of the Year. Blah blah. Like
He was
Player
good
of
his
the Year
whole
in
time
every single year.
At Chelsea, really, I feel like.
Yeah,
he was
Chelsea.
he was really good. He was
The
really
whole
good.
time.
It was just until he went to Real Madrid.
Yeah, then they just went downhill.
Yeah.
All right, I knew one of you guys was gonna have Hazard. I figured one of us would do it.
He was in his prime, man. He was so exciting.
So
to
you
watch.
got
So wait.
hold on. This guy's got Eden Hazard and
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo playing next to each
Wing
other.
No.
You said you played at what 3-5-2? Let me see how it's written out here.
This.
Oh, okay. So he's got him on opposite sides.
Yeah.
I thought
mean,
I thought he had him on
Yeah,
the
how
same.
did he have
Two
him
on this
on-
side, two on that
What's
side.
going on
That's
with
what I
this?
was gonna say. I was just confused. Okay, fair enough.
No, I mean, might as well tell your other attacking player at this point.
Me?
You're forward. Forwards.
Two, I get
Oh, he's
two?
got two forwards because he's
Oh.
playing with the 3-5-2.
Oh yeah,
All right.
that's true.
TT?
Ronaldo's a wing back.
Well, when you have Modric and Kante, and you have those three
No.
strong
no,
central
no.
defenders.
Listen, we're gonna
Oh.
clip this, put this on TikTok because you're about to get roasted. And
No,
this
no,
is gonna
no.
end up in the BS segment of the podcast.
Get the hell out of here.
All right, go on.
My two strikers were Thierry Henry and then Luis Suarez.
What? You just said
This man
Suarez,
said Suarez.
What? Yes.
Suarez was the one player who didn't reach his potential,
and then he puts
And
him
now
in
he
the
puts
all
him as-
time.
Yeah, because I think he's, again, at his best. We're talking about in snapshots of time, at his best. He absolutely, I believe, stands in there.
No,
And the thing, when I say I don't think he reaches.
agree.
You're really holding on to the Suarez take, huh?
I've been thinking a lot about it. Like when you say he hasn't reached his potential.
This is really why he hasn't
Some
slept
of
that
the
night.
some of the reason why I feel like I get frustrated about it is because maybe I'm thinking of it. I don't think people give him the credit that I like when I look at him and how great I think he was. I don't think people look at him like that. As an Arsenal fan, I think Luis Suarez at his best is arguably better than Thierry Henry. And that's hard for me to even like say out loud. But when he was at Liverpool with Daniel Sturridge, what they did was unprecedented and
I agree.
unreal.
I agree with that.
All right.
And I just don't think a lot of people feel that way. Maybe I'm wrong, and everyone's like, yeah, I think Luis Suarez is one of the best strikers ever of all time, top 5, top 3. But I don't think people say that.
I'm just
or feel
confused
that
on
way.
how you can think that, but then you say that he never reached his potential.
Because I guess what I'm saying is that like
He just wanted to see him
didn't-
for longer.
He didn't do enough on the field to show the world for most people to agree that he's like top 3 strikers of all time.
The guy was unreal, man.
I know, but what I'm saying is like, okay, when you ask people who are the top 3 strikers, both Ronaldos are going to be immediately up there.
Well, it's a
And then I don't think people are going to
It's a
throw
tough
him-
question, though.
It's
Like,
also
It
a
is
tough
a tough
position
question.
because it's the position that's mostly there's so many names that people want to pick for that position. Whereas like you think outside backs, I feel like you're limited to like
There's
less,
like a few
less people.
tops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But strikers, I mean, obviously anyone who scores goals, people are always going to have a little bit more to say about them.
yeah.
But all right, so Suarez and Thierry Henry.
I mean, that's a solid too.
Yep. What'd you have, Georgie?
Now, what do you have?
So on the right, I had CR7. CR7 on the right, just so that on the left I
You're
could put
going
our
with 3.
three, the two
Yeah.
wide players, 2 wingers, and a center forward. On the left, I had Gareth Bale. Was that the guy that you were talking about, or no? When we were talking about
Hazard.
Oh, you were talking about Hazard.
That's right.
I was talking about Gareth
those
Bale.
two, both.
Talking about Gareth
So
Bale.
very
Gareth
similar.
Bale at Tottenham was unbelievable.
Yeah, he
and
was.
if he would have stayed,
That-
You,
I mean,
you
who
could have put
knows?
him as your left back. That's where he played for Tottenham.
Just trying to cheat. I mean,
That's what he did. That's where he played for Tottenham.
He
Well,
did.
if you talk
At
about
the
where he
beginning?
actually,
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Against Inter
I
Milan.
just think about like
That was his like
Yeah.
did he
come
play
out
outside
game.
back for Inter Milan.
Yeah, no, against
No,
Inter
when,
Milan.
when
Sorry,
he played
sorry,
against
against Inter
Inter, when he
Milan.
ran past
When he
Maicon
scored
3
those 2
times in a
goals.
row.
Yeah,
By the way, those are literally the exact same goal twice.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought Gareth Bale was really good. And to be honest, he doesn't get as much credit for his stint at Real Madrid. I thought at Real Madrid he actually had some really good performances. You think
yeah.
about the Copa del Rey, the one where he ran
Yep.
past
Against Barca. Against
I think he had big
not
moments. That was the
Arbeloa.
problem.
Albiol,
He had big moments.
I think.
Albiol is a Real Madrid player, my friend.
Arbeloa then. No, Arbeloa was a Real Madrid player. Raul Albiol was a Barca player, right?
Nah, I think they were both Real Madrid players. But
No, it was like Mark Bartra, wasn't it Bartra?
I
Might have been
wait,
Bartra.
I have to interrupt this for this comment.
All right, go ahead.
Jared
it, Ken?
Rose. Sorry if I'm
Hey,
pronouncing
I
your name.
remember Jared.
Yeah, he said, Javi,
Jared,
man, not sure if you remember me.
Of course I
from,
do.
From the web, but glad to see life is going well. Love the content.
What a G, yeah. And I believe it's pronounced race.
Race.
Believe so. He's probably going to correct me, but I remember it was pronounced slightly different than the way it was spelled.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at Gardner Webb. Coached him for a little bit. Good guy.
Nice.
Legend.
Awesome.
So, Gareth Bale, I just didn't think he got enough credit for what he did at Real Madrid. And I just think he stayed there too long and didn't have as much of an impact as he
He scored a bicycle kick for him in
Scored
the
the bicycle
Champions
in the
League final that sealed the game.
which got overlooked
And I
because of
know-
Karius' performance. That's the only reason why he got overlooked.
And it's one of those things where it's like, wait a minute, you guys won the Champions League final. He scored an unbelievable goal, and
Yeah.
yeah.
he was like ostracized all the time. If it was weird,
The argument about Bale has always been one, the injuries, which out of his control. The calf, the last 2-3 years was the calf problem that nobody knew what the actual problem was or how you can, get him back on the field. But inconsistencies in terms of in big games, he would show up, which again, you can look at it two ways. Oh, that's where.
what would you rather have? Yeah,
But then when you look throughout the season, where in games or like less impactful games, he never had the impact that, for example, like he was always going to be compared to Ronaldo just because of the amount of money he was brought in for. Hazard was the same way. The amount of money you had to. Same with Jude. If Jude doesn't score the 15 goals or whatever, how many goals he has now, we're looking at it like, is he worth that much? Is he this? Is he this? Where it's a bit different because he's a center mid compared to all these attacking guys. But you have to, in a way, I'm sure his stats are good too, Bale. But I just think that the injuries and also he was never accepted. I don't think
Right.
he was never accepted in the Real Madrid.
The crazy thing about when you look at a player's value is that the real way you should be looking at their value is their marketing value. That's really where you should be looking at. I mean, you can also look at it as resale, but when you're paying $100 million for a player, you typically know you're not going to sell them for more than that when it's all said and done, because that's going to be their highest.
What are you going to get in jersey sales and
But you're going to get
Instagram
that
followers?
Money back. Yeah, you're going to get that money back quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's like it doesn't matter what you pay for Messi because you make it back in jersey sales and Instagram followers like literally the next day.
So like when people are like, "Oh my God, he's not worth $100 million," well, Real Madrid's like, "Yeah, but we're going to make $200 million
tomorrow in jersey sales and
so he is worth that much money."
And then
Even
if we
perform.
what did they sell him to Juve for? Another $100 million. It was close.
Bale?
I was transition. I guess when I was talking about Ronaldo.
Oh, Ronaldo was like
30.
Yeah, I think it was like somewhere around 30.
Yeah.
But again, that one,
I
that
thought
one's
it was
an
more-
easy.
I thought it was
That's
more
an
than
easy moneymaker.
Yeah. you-
30 million for Ronaldo, and you're
And
making.
you're gonna feel the Serie A
Can you
stands
imagine?
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the whole league. Enrique said, imagine if Bale actually liked playing and training football instead of golf.
he is. Have you guys ever watched him at golf? He's unbelievable at golf.
I mean, his backyard is golf.
He's tremendous at golf.
It's crazy.
He did a tournament recently. He's like doing.
Really?
I think he said he would have gone pro if he
Would have started
Yeah.
younger.
if he wouldn't have been a footballer.
It would be cool if he did somehow make that happen.
It's
He was
crazy.
a good player.
Are there any pro soccer players that go player in other sports? Peter Cech's the only one I can think of.
Just made his debut for a hockey team in.
Well, Harry Kane is saying he's gonna come play in NFL. Kicker.
Oh, and kicker. Have you guys seen the Dallas Cowboys kicker that's breaking all the records? Brandon Aubrey.
Was he the ex soccer
MLS.
player?
Yeah.
Yeah.
MLS player. Yeah, he's rookie and breaking all these records in the NFL. We should all go out one time for
I think
the
he played
Lions open training or open tryouts and see if we can make the team as a kicker. Can you imagine seeing
That's
Javi
how
out there?
he started though. He said he was watching a game and he's like, can't be that.
Wait,
hard,
there's
to be
open
honest.
tryouts for that?
Yeah, they do it every year.
Oh, for
or not
real?
like I don't do it every year, but especially they have open tryouts.
It ain't gonna be me.
Most of those guys wear football boots, cleats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
true socks. And all that, yeah.
So, Gareth Bale, CR7, and Thierry Henry. I put Thierry Henry. I had to go Thierry
Yeah.
Henry.
Have to. Yeah.
Man I've never seen a goal like the one that he scored with his back to goal where he takes a touch, flicks it up, and then scores it like that. The way that the ball moved in the air, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
That is like that's his one
that-
clip.
that's
That's,
what you
his
remember.
highlight video right there. Clip that and send it
Like
everywhere.
the Burkamp. That's what you remember.
Like the
Burkamp
Bria.
when-
Yeah.
Exactly. And that was back at I think that was back at Highbury. That was before the
Yeah.
Emirates.
That was
So that's my
young TT.
That's my striker. So, who do you guys think is better? Whose team is better? Who would win out of our teams? First of all,
for
he's
sure
definitely
my
losing.
team.
He's
No,
definitely
no,
losing.
you're-
No chance I
He's
lose.
I'll tell
Wait,
you
I
what,
didn't even say mine.
He's losing. Oh,
Well,
hold on.
we know
Hold
you'll
on.
lose. It's just Who do you got up top? Luis Suarez and
No, actually, I got Thierry Henry as my one. If I would have won 2, as far as it went up there, but Henry, Ronaldo,
Salah.
yep, Mo Salah. It's just overlooked.
Da 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 da
The
da
stats speak
da.
I don't like him. He's selfish.
No,
Shut up.
If you're gonna be selfish, you have to be world class, Ronaldo legendary type selfish.
do you want me to pull up the stats?
Stop. Ronaldo class stats for Salah.
Salah,
Here we go.
and in the Premier League, way better stats than Ronaldo's.
Yeah,
stats.
because Ronaldo left the Premier League when he was 22 years old.
Compare him at Real Madrid. Compare him at Real Madrid versus Salah at Liverpool. Like if
Well,
Ronaldo
I'm
stayed.
talking Premier League.
No. But that's unfair. That's like saying that's like saying that there's players who are. That's like saying.
That's like saying Mohamed El Neni's better than Modric because he has more Premier League goals. Like no,
Mitrovic is better than Messi because he's got more goals in the Premier League.
No, because they both played.
Huh?
Like
No, I know, but Ronaldo played
okay.
as a start of his career, and then the majority he played.
Okay, you're saying Hazard won X this as a winger. Salah has twice the amount of goals than Hazard has.
I know, but at their best, I would still say at their best, I think Hazard's better.
Yeah, we're not talking about.
Well, I mean,
trophies and stats factor into it, but it's not the whole picture. I'm just saying you can't compare Salah to Ronaldo at Man U.
I'm fine with Salah being in your
That's
lineup, but
unfair.
yeah, you said
I don't think you're like crazy or anything for putting Salah on there. A lot of people would put Salah on there, but don't compare him to my boy CR7 at Manchester United. Compare Salah's stats at Liverpool to Ronaldo at Real Madrid, and then come talk to me. And then come talk to me. Compare Salah at Liverpool to my stats in the Sunday League at Mexican town, Southwest Detroit. All right, and then come talk to me. My stats aren't very good. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll compare your
good.
stats to the over 30
My
game
stats
that
are
you
not
played
very
the other night.
how did he do?
I'm pretty sure I got a couple assists.
Do you guys play on Monday, or is it another bye?
Played on Monday, but they
No,
didn't
we
tell
play
me.
Wednesday next week.
They didn't tell me when this week's game was, so I'm
Wednesday.
guessing my performance
I don't know.
wasn't very good.
Royal Oak still?
Yeah.
I can't do that. I don't think.
I think my team beats all of your teams. He definitely loses.
There's no way
Joe,
I lose.
Joe definitely
Definitely
loses.
loses.
How?
You play
Because you got
Cristiano
Ronaldo.
This guy's good, man.
I haven't. He played left mid. When
Kyle
he was,
Walker.
Yeah,
Kyle
but
Walker's
you
gonna
don't have
be
him
by
as a mid.
himself
You have him
on it.
as a wing back.
No, I have him as
So I'll tell you
midfielder.
what, your team is going to lose.
No, because
7-6.
my team's gonna win 11-8. It's gonna be the most. It's gonna be so exciting. What do you mean? We got defenders back here. This is exactly how City play. It's exactly how City play.
At times, yeah.
Wait,
times.
who's the Ronaldo in the City lineup?
Doku?
No, that'd be more like Kyle Walker.
No.
When he just
Kyle
moves up.
when they play with 3 in the back, Kyle Walker doesn't play wing back. He plays as one of the 3, and then in possession they move. So Vidic comes out wide. Campbell would go, and then he goes out wide, and then you would have Modric who would drop in. I've already tactically planned this out.
Joe's lost the plot.
What do you guys think I've been doing here? I've been living at this house. I'm trapped in this house. Get me out of here.
Have we got any more comments, Georgie?
Oh, Enrique, who's coaching each team?
Ooh.
That's a
Ooh.
great
Think about
question.
Enrique, you.
Wait, Man Dog, I'm not going to read this. Joe has the best lineup. Bruh.
Listen,
My man, Mad
wait,
Dog.
Wait, technically it's true. Technically, no.
Listen, you should be happy. This guy said Vieira as a center back.
Hey,
wait.
I like him. I like him.
Technically, he's right because lineup in terms of he has all the best players, not the right positions though. But technically,
Hey, if you're a great manager like I am, you can manage and you can convince people to play in positions they don't
Enrique,
like.
Joe's in the coach's team.
Joe definitely.
So filter
Joe
that.
would nominate himself.
No.
That's a good one. All right.
That's a good one.
Premier League managers only.
That's easy. You already know.
Oh
It's
my
not-
God! Don't
it's-
say. Come
He's
on.
going to say clap.
Fair enough. To be
What?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
He's
gonna say
one
clap.
of the best
Although
managers.
that's very biased.
Yeah.
Not a single person who's not a Liverpool supporter would ever say clap.
Negative.
I mean,
Or
can we
Borussia
take
Dortmund
Pep off the thing? Because I feel like most of us will just say Pep.
I'm not going to choose Pep.
Gary Neville. All these.
You don't think Pep's the best coach in
Okay,
the Premier League?
I
Not
Gary
that I
Neville-
don't think he's the best coach, but he's not the person that I would have a coach in my team. I mean, it's kind of like Messi and Ronaldo for the Ballon d'Or debate. Like you kind of have to take him out. Like that's an easy one to pick. Anyone can pick that one. It's like we should have probably just taken out CR7 to be honest. Well, not really because it was different at Manchester United versus Real Madrid, but still, it's like that one's like
We're all gonna put him.
everyone's gonna put
We're all
Real
gonna
Madrid,
put him on
everyone's
there,
gonna put
yeah.
Ronaldo. Everyone's gonna pick Guardiola because it's Guardiola.
Not me.
I know, not
we
you,
know.
but
We
what I
know.
wanna say,
Because he doesn't
all right,
coach or
so
play for Liverpool.
Klopp,
Easy, yeah. We're winning the league, baby. That's easy. You're on Klopp?
You're winning the league in 6 years after a rebuild, yeah.
No.
Jerry's going to get all these players and say, yeah, Klopp says we need a rebuild.
No, we're going to get all these players like...
And then he's going to complain about the times of kickoff on Saturday mornings.
Yeah, I mean, the best coach in the Premier League history is Pep. But for this, yeah, I'll go with my boy, Mikel Arteta.
It's embarrassing.
This is embarrassing.
Hey, yeah. For the pressers alone.
I'm going to go with the only right answer.
Well, Sir Alex?
No. Come on.
Arson?
No. I am flabbergasted that you guys have not figured out the best manager.
Oh, I know who you're going to say, Unai Emery.
Oh my word. To be fair, Unai Emery's not a bad shout. Unai Emery would be the best manager of not superstar players.
Yeah.
Klopp would be the best manager for that.
He has superstar
Klopp
players.
Klopp didn't have Aston Villa. Klopp didn't have Villarreal.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Who are you going to go with, Eddie Howe?
Come on, boys. Come on.
I'm so lost on it.
Somebody in the comments help me out. Who is the greatest manager?
Mourinho.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean...
Jose. I am Jose Mourinho.
I thought about saying Jose, but I was like, I can't. As an
Jose's
Arsenal fan, I can't
unbelievable.
do it.
Which Jose? The
Chelsea.
last 5 years or the first 5 years?
The special one.
Is
The special years.
what?
Special one.
So you think he's a better manager than Klopp and Pep?
It's preference. It's preference, really. You could say which one. Like you'd probably say Pep Guardiola's overall, when it's all said and done, is going to be the GOAT, in my opinion.
Till Xabi Alonso takes it from him.
I mean, no, because managers you can manage for a much longer time than you can play. Jose Mourinho was just fun, man. It's fun. He's a fun guy who managed to get a team to do exactly what he wanted and get results.
Yep.
So you don't think... I love Mourinho, but you don't think that the years after that put his legacy at a lower standard because...
Not
How many
really.
times he came to Chelsea?
Well, he
went
won
to
every time.
Spurs. He went to Spurs, didn't work out. Went to Man United, got second, won the
Yeah,
Europa
but that's
League.
the risk you take when you go to multiple
Yeah.
clubs. At some point, you're going to fail at one of those. That's the reality of these things. You could be the greatest manager, but if Pep moved around 3 or 4 clubs, at one of them he would fail, unless he had the opportunity. To have
Billions.
The thing I like about Pep over Mourinho is the fact that Mourinho, it always would like fall apart after. He would build something great, and he would either leave like he did at Porto and Inter, or it would fall apart. And to me, like there's something to what Klopp can do, what Pep's done, what Arsene Wenger did, Sir Alex did, is being able to build something and then sustain it. Because I think that the building's the fun part too.
Yeah.
The sustaining it is where it really gets like tiring, and that's where, to me, where the
I think
hard work comes in more, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, part of that I think is probably because he was more controversial than the other two. I think when you're controversial, it's a lot more easy to become a target to say you're not having a good. Mourinho was cocky. He was very cocky.
Yeah.
So the moment he started doing bad, everyone jumps on him and says like, "Oh, this guy's not a real manager." Blah blah. And then Klopp is a lot more reserved. So like Klopp, nobody targets Klopp as much as if he would have been more outspoken, like Jose Mourinho. Yeah. People would be targeting Klopp. Oh, he needs to go. Liverpool's having a bad year. But even through the bad year, everyone's just because of his man management and the way he conducts himself.
Yeah, different personality.
That's the interesting thing. I really do believe that when Jose Mourinho was in the Premier League, it was the greatest times to watch Premier League matches, not just for the players. Because when it was Jose Mourinho versus Pep, that was also at Barcelona and Real Madrid. But there was a time, there was a small window of time when you had Conte, you had Mourinho, I think, you had Guardiola, there was like 2 or 3 more really good managers. Klopp, and it was like there was so many
Mourinho
different
at Tottenham when Tuchel was at Chelsea?
I don't know.
No,
but I'm just saying that there was like 5 or 6 matchups that could happen on any given weekend that I was interested to see because of the managers. Yeah. Whereas now, you still have like Pep versus Klopp, but really besides that, it's not really as
Arteta versus Klopp as the only other one, really.
Yeah,
because Arteta's. I feel like,
but just the drama with Jose Mourinho was like times 10 every single time.
He was
every single time.
The pressers were amazing.
So pretty much, Javi loves the toxic managers. That's what we got.
Yes.
Wait. So who do you have on your team?
He managed Mourinho. Jose Mourinho was the one manager who managed to deal with one of the toughest personalities in all of football, which I can tell you that 99% of other managers probably fail at doing. You know who that person is?
Zlatan? Yep.
A player like Zlatan, a person like Zlatan is very difficult to be able to like control and like get the best out of. And he speaks very highly of Jose Mourinho.
That is true.
Yeah.
But
you've watched the playbook, right?
Yeah.
His man management and just how he can. It's because of how he communicates. He's so authentic. You easily buy into him. Then he works really hard, and he's also transparent and honest, like you've talked about a lot. He has a lot of great qualities. That's why I think he was able to do magical things like he did with Porto, taking them and winning the Champions League is on.
One of the greatest moments of all time was when he beat Barcelona at Camp Nou with Inter. That was a moment that he goes up to the fans and he goes like this and he starts celebrating, and Victor Valdez is ready to rip his head off, and they have to like separate him.
That was the moment you knew that he's going to Real Madrid.
Man went in front of the Camp Nou and went like this in front of everybody.
And that was with Inter Militao and
Diego. What was his name? Diego Milito.
Yeah,
Milito.
Enrique said Pep's only argument is he never got a mid-table team and won. Everybody else did that.
Yeah, I know, but
That's
it's
fair.
like saying, I mean, you get the job done with what you have. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Why would you take if your only reason to take a mid-level team is just to see if you can do it? Why would you do it?
Yeah.
If you have the opportunity to take the best team in the world with the most resources, why wouldn't you take that team? Unless you're scared because you're like, oh well, I'm scared that it's almost too perfect and I'm going to be the one to mess it up, which means you're not confident. I'm just saying, like, why would you settle for something less? Like, a lot of these managers take these teams because they don't have offers to go at higher positions. Like, how many of these managers, even the ones that we're talking about, are going to get offered the Real Madrid job? Are ever going to get offered Barcelona or Manchester City? Very few of them.
Yeah.
So they take what they have, and then they just try and build. And most of the time, at some point, they're going to struggle.
Okay, so let me.
He
ask
also
you
took.
this.
Barca wasn't great when he took over. They were not doing well.
And I credit him for making tough decisions with that Barca team of Eto'o, Henry, and Ronaldinho, and who else was it?
I would assume he got rid of Alexis, but that would have been a little bit later.
I think that was a little bit later. But like
Up front.
Ronaldinho, the best player in the world at that time, the one that everybody enjoyed watching. Pep had to make the decision just to let him go, in order to build the Barca that he wanted. Same thing with Eto'o, which is regarded as one of the best strikers of all time. So, like, to be able to do that, people don't give him credit for that.
Yeah.
How many players how many coaches do you think would have came in and said Ronaldinho has to go in order for this to work?
And then,
And then done it.
Enrique said Mourinho is still the most successful Man United coach after Fergie era, in my opinion. And then Jared,
It's true.
one of the coolest Mourinho moments is the Spurs ball boy. And I think that was the moment in the documentary of All or Nothing.
Was
with
that
the ball boy?
gets the assist.
Yeah, and then he brings them in the next day, have like lunch or breakfast with the players, and like introduce them because they won. They scored a goal,
and they won the game because
That's
of it.
the one?
Yeah. Well, those are the small things that he's so good at understanding, like how to make everyone around him feel
He just said ball boy
amazing
assist.
and like make them feel like they are top of the world, confident. Like,
Yeah, he did that with the ball boy recently. Did you see that? He gave instructions to the goalkeeper, to Rui Patricio, I think it was. He gave him instructions on a piece of paper, and he handed the piece of paper to the ball boy, and the ball boy went over to Rui Patricio and gave him
it's awesome.
the paper.
I think Mourinho's it's either you love him or you hate him. There's like no in between.
Yeah.
It's like one or the other.
Which is crazy, but the crazy part about it all to me is that such a controversial figure.
Yeah.
And how many people go and say bad things about him? Really?
Not many.
Not many. Even the ones that didn't
No,
work.
Zlatan loves Mourinho. He hates Pep. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
So think about it. You think a lot more people would be like, oh, Mourinho's a fraud, or Mourinho treated me like crap. And I think most of them just respected his authenticity, his honesty.
Yeah.
I would be interested to hear what like Delhi has to say about him.
He was
'Cause-
honest. He was 100% right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's making the rounds now because look at Dele Alli.
That video is people watching like, wow, I can't believe that this actually happened.
Yeah. And like we saw like with our own eyes live during that season.
Yeah. And I thought he handled that conversation well too.
He could have. He wasn't a jerk about it. He wasn't mean. He wasn't. He just was direct and clear.
Yeah, he told him straight up, like you got to be better in training. You got to put in the work, and
Because otherwise, you're gonna look back on this and
look at it now.
regret it, and it'll go like that.
I use that quote sometimes with my teams. The one where he's like, yesterday I was, what do you say? Like, yesterday I was 21 and today I'm 47 or something like that.
Yeah.
I've used that before. I'm like, guys, yesterday I was whatever, and then now I'm retired and not doing this anymore.
Yeah. It does quote
And it
quick.
doesn't work.
It's a good quote. It doesn't
And
work.
it
It never
doesn't work
gets.
for
It
that.
never gets what Mourinho gets out of the players. But yeah.
So
That's it.
so you're, for example, you are Aston Villa before this. You're struggling. You're a mid-table team.
I'm selling the club.
You have Pep, Klopp, Mourinho.
Yeah. He even more. He fits that role even more. He did it with Porto. You win the Champions League with Porto. Come on.
So, but
That's like
So-
winning the Premier League with Leicester. That's a fair comparison.
That's a fair.
no, it's not.
Yes, it
Why?
is.
No, it's not.
Why
The
not?
chances of look at all the winners of the Champions League
Yeah.
in recent years, and you
Oh,
tell
okay,
me
the Champions League. I thought you were talking about
no, when he
winning
won the
everything
Champions League with Porto.
Yeah.
And that was
Okay.
in what was that like 2004, 2005?
He beat
2004.
he beat Fergie's United.
2004, yeah.
Crazy to do that.
Yeah.
So to your question, even more so, I would take Mourinho
I-
for an Aston Villa or for one of those clubs
But not now.
after Unai Emery.
I wouldn't take him now.
Good evening.
I wouldn't take him now.
Mourinho?
No.
No, but you don't take him now. You take him. We're talking about the prime. You wouldn't
Yeah,
take Gareth Bale
prime.
now. You wouldn't take Eden Hazard now.
Well, yeah, but it's a coach. He's still coaching. Like Bale's not playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, some of these players that I don't know. Is there any players that we named that are? No, I guess not.
What, still playing?
Still playing it, but
Yeah.
not as good.
Yeah, Ronaldo.
That's true. Haha. Ronaldo. No, but we're talking about in their prime.
Oh, in their prime, yeah.
In their prime when they were at their max potential.
So so we all agree Pep is not made for a lower tier. Like, okay, let me ask
I think
you,
he would do well, but the difference
let me
is
ask you
like
this. Do you
it
think-
would take a lot longer and you have to invest a lot more. Like, because part of Pep's plan is he does need the pieces to build the puzzle. Where Mourinho's much better at taking the puzzles the pieces of things he has and turning it into something. Pep, it can't necessarily do that. Like convert, because he has a specific way he wants to play. And Mourinho will alter, I think, how he wants to play based on the personnel he has and maximize both. When Pep is really driving towards a specific outcome, I think Pep could pivot, but that's not his
I don't think he would pivot.
his strong suit.
I just don't think you can answer that question because he hasn't had the
He
opportunity
hasn't
to
had
do
it.
so.
Yeah.
So you can't really tell. Everyone's just basing it on an assumption
Yeah, I mean, that's
of
what we
what
can
would
do.
happen. Right, but most of the other managers, you have the ability to say like what happened when they had other clubs, like Mourinho when he had Tottenham,
Klopp when he was where was he before Dortmund?
Dortmund.
It was he was somewhere before.
Mines.
Yeah.
He got him promoted.
Yeah, but he did well.
Yeah.
Klopp's done well at every club.
Yeah.
so
Well,
far.
That's why Dortmund, I don't know,
But, like,
whatever, build them up to win the over Bayern, the only team.
Tuchel, Conte, what's the Pochettino? All these guys have had really good moments and then really bad moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Pochettino right now.
Just going through one, yeah.
So
Tuchel
I just
got
think like Pep, you can't really answer that
Tuchel
question
what?
because he's never had it.
Tuchel got fired from Chelsea.
Oh, I thought you were saying he just got fired from Bayern.
Oh no, I
I'm
mean
like,
he
oh,
got
really?
destroyed from Frankfurt, but
Yeah. I can't believe Chelsea. I still can't believe they got rid of him. But
we got some more decent amount of comments now.
All right, let's see it.
Hold on, whoa, okay, I gotta scroll up. I like this. Enrique says Mourinho built Porto, Chelsea, and Inter. Pep inherited Bayern and City.
But you can't blame him for that, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can't blame him for
because
the
he
fact
also
that he got the teams that he wanted.
you could argue I don't say he built Barca because it was already a great club
But he
by
did.
them, but he rebuilt Barca. And if you look at the players that he also in the process while building a club created and gave to people, like Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets, Messi are all
That's
world
generational.
class.
That's like you don't get
But
that.
again, I make the argument of who is the greatest person in basketball of all time, and most people say Michael Jordan. You know what Michael Jordan never did until he met Phil Jackson? Won a championship. Does he win all the championships without Phil Jackson? I don't know, but he was in the league for plenty of years and didn't. Would Barca and Pep been as great? Like, because they changed, and then that tiki taka that team took with them to win the World Cup. Really,
Yeah, I mean,
That
pretty
was
much.
the Barcelona. That was Spain national team.
To add to that, Jared says when Pep builds the puzzle, it's pretty much unbeatable because he's so tactically smart, and that's why it works. And he pretty much has two teams with City now because he's built them over the past 2 years. Mandog says, I don't know if you can really blame Mourinho for Spurs. I think Spurs are just cursed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree with that.
And then Julian, welcome to the stream. How long do you guys think Chelsea is going to be stuck in this bad form?
I said I think a year. They have to get through, I think, this transfer window in January. Same thing in the summer. And then I think with Pochettino there, assuming they give him time, I think that they will be in a good spot, trending where they want to by this time next year.
I think Chelsea is the most annoying part about Chelsea is the fact that they can go from being one of the worst clubs, honestly closer to the relegation zone than to the top four, to the next season winning the Champions League with an interim manager. So that's the part that bothers me about Chelsea, is that it's like literally a 180. There's no rebuild with Chelsea. Yeah. They have completely given up on rebuilds, and they're just like, we just need a new manager who's going to get us to win the Champions League next season, and then after that, we'll sack him when he loses 2 games the following season.
Will and Cuckoo coming back help?
I think he's got way too much pressure on him at this point.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where it's like, oh, they're just missing like one piece here or there. The chemistry's all right. They're just missing like that final guy. I think that makes sense, but it's just so all over the place with their performances that I think he helps them. I don't think he's like their savior.
Part of me thinks so. Like the crazy peaks and valleys with them is I don't want to say I guess I will say it's a good thing. Meaning, because before like their best games weren't that great. Like their best games were okay. They kind of got through it. Now their best games they can go out and they look good. Like tying City, drawing against Arsenal. That now it's doing that on a consistent basis that like as a coach and as a leader, I'd like to try and get those peaks first. And then we work on habits, consistency, and then just removing the bad performance. Because if they could remove the bad performances and even just make them decent, they would be in a decent spot in the table. But we'll see.
All right. I think we should finish it up.
Yep.
Finish it up. I think we're done for today. We'll try and do some podcasts on the live on the TikTok. We'll figure out the solution so that you guys don't have to hear the audio from the.
Yeah, they say they're still here really good. But.
Yeah, the phone does a good job, but it obviously doesn't sound as clear as from the microphones. But also, we're going to try and do this consistently on live so that people can come back. We just got to figure out a schedule.
Yeah, we need to do a schedule
so that people know when we're going to be on live instead of just randomly. And then just one more time, please, guys, make sure you follow us on all of the social media channels because that's what helps the podcast grow. We're trying to get to the point where eventually we can do things outside of the studio and go to games, go watch games and do interviews outside of the stadiums. Do different types of content. But make sure you follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/@thenGW podcast, as well as TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the NGW podcast. All right. You guys got anything?
No. Thank you.
Nope. Thank you guys. Have a
See
good
you soon.
night.
Catch you in the next one.
Yeah.